Fog Entertainment back with another movie review, and this one is Night at the Museum. I've seen this like a million years ago. We actually have quite a lot of like star power in terms of actors in this. You've got, Ben Stiller, obviously. You've got Rami Malek. You've got Robin Williams. You've Owen Wilson, Dick Van Dyke. You've got Big Carla Guadagnini, who's in Gerald's Game, which basically is all it's remembered for. We've got Mickey Rooney and Steve Coogan. There's a few more, but basically, we follow the life of Larry. Pretty apparently, the guy just appears to be a jobber. Like, he's got his wife, who's his ex-wife, who's with another man, and his son's like, kind of like being looked after by the stepdad, and the stepdad's a jerk. I mean, it is a bit cookie cutter, this, isn't it? Like, especially in like a Ben Stiller movie. Like, I feel like Ben Stiller plays the same character in every movie. You know what? If it works, it works. So you can't exactly, bury him too much, especially if it does work. Ben Stiller, though, is 56 years old. He'll soon be 57. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's good. I mean, he's not fantastic. He's not like the greatest thing of all time. But if you want him to do a job in a comedy, he'll do that job in a comedy. But basically, he can't find a job. But there's this one job everyone keeps rejecting as he's at like the brew. He's at the brew. He's like, for fuck's sake, I need a job to look after my son. I don't want us to affect it onto the cold, hard, mean streets of New York. And it's basically a security guard at the Night of the Museum. Or this big museum, not the Night of the Museum, you know what I mean? That's the name of the movie. But we get there, and he's introduced to three old security guards who are retiring due to him taking the job. Also, Ricky Gervais is the Dr. McPhee guy. And the three old guys, we've got Dick Van Dyke in there, Cecil Gus, and the rest of the decrepit old bastard. I can't even remember the other guy's fucking. What is the guy's name in the show? Can't remember. I've looked at the cast list and I can't find them. But basically, he's taking the job and he thinks he can impress his son Nick by doing it. But they warn him that he needs to follow the list. But of course, he doesn't follow the list. And he wakes up, he goes to check the front door, but he realises something. The dinosaur, the T-Rex, is no longer there. And it's like at this point, holy good fuck, man. Not good, not good. So he's looking around for it. Then he finds it at the vending machine, which of course, I mean, this would just be a terrifying sight. Like I'm not saying this T-Rex couldn't kill you, but it's just bones. Like, I mean, I know these things are all come to life and stuff, and I get it. It's not exactly realistic, but at least the other things are kind of like human form, even though there's a few things that are like wax form, and that is Theodore Roosevelt. Now, I could have swore, right, that Theodore Roosevelt was president of America in our more recent time, but in this movie, you seem to think that he's not that. But as I've done a quick search, his presidential term was 1901 to 1909, but I could have swore Roosevelt was a fucking, like, the name Theodore Roosevelt, like, I know my history, like, but Theodore Roosevelt, I could have swore, that's his name, Franklin D. Roosevelt, aye, there you go, basically served during, I knew it was to do World War II, so aye, Theodore, we've got Franklin D. Roosevelt and Theodore, it doesn't really matter, right? And Robin Williams is very good in this movie, I'm not going to dispute that, but I think with Robin Williams is a bit, not weird, but it's like, I think his death just makes people overrate him. Now, he's very good, right? He's kind of like Ben Stiller, he can be very serious, he's a fucking lovely guy by the sounds of it, right? And I mean, sad that the guy took his own life, right? Truly is, truly is, but I do feel like he's overrated, and I feel like that happens with most people when they die, they're just like put up a level, right? No disrespect to the guy, I feel like it's just a fucking cultural thing, it will happen. But yeah, like another weird thing is this, you've got like the native Indian or whatever the fuck her name is, can't actually recall what her name was, Shaka Jawi or something, is that her name? I don't know, but it's like they're teasing a relationship with those two. It's like, hold on here, she looks like she's a teenager, and Robin Williams is Theodore Roosevelt, and albeit they're wax, well he's wax, not sure about her, just seems weird, and they finally get together at the end of the movie, but basically the toys come alive, he wants to quit Ben Stiller, big Larry, but they're not having it, the security guard, so the security guards are like, fuck it, basically revealed to them they're just like ancient gold stone that's like brings all these things to life, but it also makes them younger, which is an interesting thing. But basically their plan is they steal it so they can live a great life at night, while Larry clocks news of this when he brings his son Nick to the party, big Jake Cherry, so that's not good for that regard. And then basically we had really funny scenes with Owen Wilson And Steve Coogan as the Romans and just like the Wild West, which I thought was really funny. Really funny scene where they're driving like the RC car and they like crash up a mountain. Well, a mountain to them, but it's just like a fucking like a wee bit of snow in New York. It was funny. Then they die and then they come crawling back, and then like you would see all like happy shit at the end where they're all celebrating. But back to the main story. Yeah, basically they managed to he catches the three old guys, gets the stone back, and everyone has survived. It was kind of there was a moment where like one of like the cavemen guys like just vanished in the mid-air because he was exposed to the sunlight, which is kind of sad. Like I mean, guy had no character development or anything remotely like that, but it was still a bit sad. But you know what? It's a good movie. It's like a 6 out of 10. You know, bit weird that he lets these three old guys just work it off, despite the fact they could just steal it again at any point. You know, because like even if they got away, it's like you know who they were. I mean, so they could just do it again. Anyway, guys, thinking too much about that, I'll give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. It's not spectacular, but it does the job for a wee light-hearted movie. So until next time, peace.